Week 11 is on the horizon. You want to win? These are the waiver wire pickups that are going to help you get to that win in Week 11. Who's in Plan A, Mr. Sullivan? That is an interesting group of guys that even a month ago people would have said, "What?"
Yeah.
So, what are we doing here? What's happening? Talk about some of these guys.
Well, I really like Rashod Bateman, and I like what he's done. He's injected a little bit of life into the passing game in Baltimore. So he would be probably my top of this tier. Michael Gallup came back today and didn't look out of place. Rhamondre Stevenson had a massive game today, but we don't really know what's going on with Damian Harris, so that's a little uncloudy. As far as Foreman and Freeman go, they appear to be starting running backs, and at any time in your waiver wires where you can pick up a starting running back, especially this late in the season, it's probably worth a go. And Pratt Freiermuth is playing well. He had an unfortunate fumble today, but he's an integral part of that offense, I believe, when Ben gets back under center.
And he, at least for the last month, has been getting more and more targets on a weekly basis. So it's
Yeah.
not surprising to me that he fits that role. And if you need a tight end that has an upside, back end T1 upside right now, I would trust him and have no problem doing so. The rest of these guys, Gallup was a guy that people would have expected to be kind of a back end wide receiver 2-ish type guy before the injury. So I'm sure he'll get back up to speed quickly. And he looked good in the bit of the game that I watched. Routes looked crisp. They were a little off on the timing, but that just takes time getting back up to
For
speed.
sure.
Who's in Plan B? Killer Cam is back. Look
Is
at
he, hey?
that. 2 touchdowns. He outscored Jared Goff and Mason Rudolph this week, right?
Yes, he did, and in very limited fashion. I think he threw 5 passes and ran 4 times. I think he only touched the field or played about 8 snaps, but he made the most of it. He had a rushing touchdown and he threw for one. So probably their man.
It's an interesting situation because they could have saved a whole lot of money in draft capital if they'd have just kept him.
Yeah, it's quite funny when you do go down that rabbit hole of the Teddy Bridgewater and then the Sam Darnold for sure.
So what are we looking at in Plan B? Who do you feel best about?
Crazy, but I think it's Jamal Agnew. Like the man has just absolutely carved out a role in that Jacksonville offense. He's highly involved. I'm interested when Logan Thomas returns from IR, which I believe will be next week. Justin Fields looks a little bit more comfortable in the Bears offense, so I think Darnell Mooney has a little bit higher of a floor. Worried about both the Giants guys health wise. I would probably put Toney over Shepard right now because Shepard's probably out a week. And Chuba Hubbard's hanging around because Christian McCaffrey apparently he's not 100% tweaked that hammy a little bit and they shut him down towards the end of that game to be on the safe side. So Chuba Hubbard still probably has a role there. So I think that's why he's in this tier.
Yep, I would agree. Yeah, Agnew feels the safest of all these guys because they're using him in a lot of different forms throughout the formation, jet sweeps and things like that. He's definitely an interesting player to keep an eye on as he keeps getting better, and he's not terrible as a receiver. When you watch him catch the ball, you can tell that he's definitely developing and should have a role for at least the rest of the season.
He can fly. So you get the ball in his hands, who knows what's going to happen.
Absolutely, absolutely. And round it out. What are we doing in tier C or Plan C? This is an interesting tier because a player like DeAndre Carter got a touchdown. I think he had 3 or 4 receptions,
Yeah, he
60-ish
played well.
yards. Carter's continued to get more and more work. This is a player I don't know that people really anticipated. Yami Brown, the rookie from UNC, people expected, but
Yeah.
Carter's kind of worked his way into a role. In this tier, who do you feel good about it? Van Jefferson still has an Odell Beckham in front of his playing time now that Robert Woods is probably going to be on IR for the rest of the season. And then McKissic's involved in the passing game. And there's some guys in this tier that I felt like could have been in the B tier. What do you think about this?
I just think this tier is so full of situations that can either vault these guys up a tier or maybe out of this tier altogether. Van Jefferson's probably in the same role that he was before they acquired Odell Beckham now that Robert Woods is out of the picture. JD McKissic is always involved in that passing game and has a decent floor. I really like Mark Ingram since he's returned to New Orleans. He seems re-energized. And Alvin Kamara, almost forgot his name, out this week, and who knows how long. He's very relevant. I agree with you on Carter. He's playing well. Alex Collins, to me, is just holding the clipboard when Chris Carson comes back, which he almost did this week. And Tyler Conklin, as much as I like the man, you can't rely on only touchdowns, and that's pretty much all he did today. I think he had 2 catches for 2 touchdowns and 6 yards. So to me, it's Van Jefferson, Ingram, and McKissic would be the top of this tier for me, but Carter definitely has some intrigue and upside for me as well.
Agreed. All right, folks. So that's 20. That gives you 20 options on the waiver wire in your leagues. We scrolled the percentages. There are some that are a little more owned than others. But if you have questions about your waiver wire specifically, we got a Discord. We have Twitter. You can contact us there. You can drop a comment or question here on this video, and we will answer it and help you out. Let us know if there's players that are missing that maybe you thought should be in one of these tiers that may not be highly owned in your league. Let's keep that conversation going below. And as always, smash that like button if you've liked it, and we'll see you later.